Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for our national anthem.
So recently, the boys and I went to Chili's, which, by the way, if you haven't seen our hashtag, I suggest you not only check that out, but also partake the next time you find yourself inside of a Chili's. At Chili's, Brian and I, you guys know Brian, right? Brian and I were joking that we can name more Simpsons characters than United States presidents. It was just some dumb joke at the time, but the more I thought about it, the funnier the joke became, and the more intrigued I became. So I had to put this to the test.
I think I'm going to start with presidents because I have a feeling about how this is going to go.
Mr. Joseph R. Biden,
Trump,
Barack Obama,
W. Bush,
Bill Clinton,
H.W. Bush,
Ronald Reagan,
Jimmy Carter,
Nixon,
Lyndon B. Johnson,
Joseph F. Kennedy, whatever the fuck his name was.
It's not Joseph.
Joseph Kennedy.
It's not Joseph. I'll tell you right now, it's not
John
Joseph.
F. Kennedy.
There you go.
Eisenhower,
Roosevelt. President Taft.
Teddy Roosevelt,
Garfield.
Ulysses S. Grant,
Lincoln.
Polk,
Oh, the goat of the goat. Martin Van Buren.
Andrew Jackson,
James Monroe.
Jefferson, Washington.
Yeah, I think I'm tapping out.
Yeah, that's all I can come up with. All right, on to Simpsons characters, and I'm not going to be proud of this.
Homer. Marge.
Lisa, Bart, Maggie,
Ned. Flanders. We got Maude, Rod, and Todd.
Patty and Selma,
Principal Seymour Skinner. Superintendent Chalmers.
Dr. Hibbert, Dr. Nick,
Krusty the Clown.
Sideshow Mel, Sideshow Bob,
Bumblebee Man.
Comic Book Guy.
I'm fairly certain that I've already named off more Simpsons characters than presidents.
I'm embarrassed that I think I know more.
Mr. Burns, Mr. Smithers,
Reverend Lovejoy,
Barney, Moe,
Duffman,
Itchy and Scratchy,
Kudos and Kang,
Ralph Wiggum, Chief Wiggum,
Apu,
Frank Grimes.
Lionel Hutz.
I think I might be tapping out.
Yeah, I'm gonna tap out there. I don't even know how many I guessed, but I know it's more than the presidents I named, which... Oh boy.
I am not proud of these results. But Brian and I, we're not just dipshits, right? Well, there's only one way to find out.
First question. How many United States presidents can you name from memory?
Oh shit.
I don't know.
Not a ton.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Alex, I was homeschooled.
I'm a history major. I'm about to be a history teacher. I should do pretty well.
George Washington. John Adams.
Jefferson.
James Madison.
James Monroe.
John Quincy Adams.
Andrew Jackson.
James K. Polk.
Zachary Taylor.
I'm thinking of like everything that I've ever like thought about in high school for like history class.
Lincoln.
Andrew Johnson.
Ulysses S. Grant.
Hayes.
Garfield. He was murdered.
There's gotta be at least a Smith in there. It's the whitest name ever.
Cleveland.
McKinley.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Taft. He was the large boy.
Calvin Coolidge.
Herbert Hoover.
There's gotta be more.
There's a lot more. FDR.
Harry S. Truman. The S stood for nothing. He just made it up.
Dwight Eisenhower.
John F. Kennedy has the airport, so that's why I know him.
Yeah, nothing else like major happened to him or anything.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
Nixon.
Ford.
Jimmy Carter.
Reagan, my favorite president.
George Bush Sr. Bill Clinton.
I feel like the minute I say I'm gonna call it quits, I'm gonna think of another one that's gonna make me very angry.
George W. Bush.
Obama.
Trump.
Biden.
That's it. That's all I
I
got.
think I gotta tap out.
We'll call it there. I'm satisfied.
I'm tapping out.
Yeah, I'm tapping out.
Dude, I think that's it. I think that's all I know.
That's all of them that I can think of.
I'm tapping out. I'm done.
I know more, but I'm gonna just go ahead and move on now.
Second question. How many Simpsons characters can you name from memory?
Oh, jeez. Not many.
I've never seen a single Simpsons episode.
Oh, I see. What is this, like a comparison?
More than presidents, for sure.
Mr. Burns.
Apu.
Principal Skinner.
Itchy. And we're gonna follow it up with Scratchy.
Superintendent Chalmers.
Lisa.
Maggie Simpson.
Homer, duh.
Homie.
Does the dog have a name?
The dog does have a name.
Simpy.
Snake.
Carl. And Lenny.
Krusty.
Sideshow Bob.
Spider Pig.
Millhouse.
Marge.
Bart Simpson. Comic book guy.
Otto.
Mo.
Smithers.
Mr. Woofers. I'm still on the
Quit
dog.
trying to guess the dog's name. You're not gonna get it.
Stampy.
Can we count the hounds of Mr. Burns?
You are the first person to ask me that, and I'm gonna say yes.
Barney Gumble.
Fat Tony.
Truckosaurus.
Sorry, what?
Truckosaurus.
Holy shit, it's a real thing. Truckosaurus is a giant mechanical truck/dinosaur. Preston, I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna give up.
That's all I know. I have no idea.
I'm tapping out.
Dude, I think that's it.
I think I gotta tap out.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. I'm good with that.
I'm gonna tap out at 25.
That's all I have. I've never seen a
That's
single
it?
Simpsons episode. I've never seen it.
That's gonna be all of them.
You sure?
Yes, that's every Simpsons character, Alex.
That's all of them. The show is really
all-
small. I don't know why it lasted so long.
So you named almost twice as many Simpsons characters as presidents.
Correct.
Is the public education system failing us? Maybe. Are Americans too in tune with pop culture? Absolutely. But in terms of these results, I'm not exactly sure what I expected. One thing I did accurately predict was about how many presidents were going to be named. I expected the average total of presidents to be roughly 15 to 25, a third to a little more than a half. And that was pretty much how it panned out. On average, we named 19.27, a little less than half. On the other hand, I was a little disappointed in how few Simpsons characters some people named. The Simpsons have been so iconic for so long now that I expected the average person to have some awareness of the show. I was expecting people to give me about 5 to 7, even if they had never really seen the show. Surprisingly to me, some people just lacked that awareness. 4 out of the 11 of us could only come up with 5 or fewer characters. But thanks to super dorks Brian, Evan, and myself, the average didn't get dragged down too low. On average, we were able to name 19.45 characters, which means we did in fact name more Simpsons characters than United States presidents. Now, I will admit, this was a fairly small sample size, but this is comedy, not science. I set out on this experiment and obtained the results I was looking for. However, I was still curious. Probably the most notable factor about the first round of quizzes is that everybody that was quizzed, myself included, are all in their 20s. Now, I'm not exactly sure if there's any sort of correlation there, considering The Simpsons has been outdated since before most of us were born. But nonetheless, I found it necessary to reach outside of that age group to see if it had any sort of effect on the results. So my first instinct was to talk to some millennials. Cringe, I know, just bear with me. This is for the integrity of the test.
First question. How many United States presidents can you name from memory?
Oh no, don't make me do this.
Washington, Adams, Jefferson,
Roosevelt and Roosevelt,
Lincoln,
Nixon,
Jackson,
Monroe,
Reagan.
Oh my God, Kennedy.
Eisenhower.
Oh, I haven't even said Biden. Jesus.
Yeah, all right, I'll tap out there.
Yeah, I think I gotta quit. I'm out.
Second question. How many Simpsons characters can you name from memory?
Motherfucker, I've got like 2.
Oh God. Okay. Bart, Maggie, Lisa.
Like Marge and Homer?
Mr. Burns, Millhouse,
Bart?
Duffman, Sideshow Bob.
Yeah, I think I'm out.
I think I gotta call it.
We also talked to one of Tim's friends from college and his wife, Nick and Laura. Nick was able to come up with 35 presidents and 48 Simpsons characters. Laura named 22 presidents to just 10 characters. These results were interesting. On average, they were able to name nearly 6 more presidents. They also named fewer Simpsons characters, but by literally just a fraction. 2/10 to be exact. Again, my expectations were somewhat met. I did expect them to name more presidents, but not necessarily by that many. I was also hoping that they can name more characters, but considering that they named basically the exact same amount, I can't say I was disappointed. I didn't stop there though. I was still curious about how another generation would fare on this quiz.
First question. How many U.S. presidents can you name from memory?
Oh my goodness.
It's not like an Alzheimer's test, right?
3. Washington, Lincoln,
Roosevelt, Truman,
Ford, Nixon,
Trump, Biden, Bush,
the other Bush,
Grant,
Obama,
LBJ,
Kennedy,
Jefferson.
Taft,
He couldn't fit in the bathtub.
Reagan, Clinton, Hoover,
Carter,
Jackson,
McKinley.
Cleveland.
That's terrible, but I guess that's it.
No, that's all I can grab right now.
Are you calling it?
Yeah. What do we get, like 10?
Second question. How many Simpsons characters can you name from memory?
Oh God, are you really gonna ask me this?
More than 26.
Homer,
Smithers and Mr. Burns,
Lionel Hutz.
Large Marge, Duffman,
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Maggie, Patty Selma,
Caden Kodos.
Bart,
Itchy and Scratchy.
You got Ned Flanders and Maud Flanders.
tapping out.
At least you knew more presidents. That makes you
You're tapping out, that's it?
What am I up to so far?
More than 18.
Oh God.
Mayor Quimby.
Jasper,
Krusty the Clown, of course.
Professor Frank,
I do.
Lurleen Lumpkin,
Dr. Hibbert.
Santa's Little Helper,
Superintendent Chalmers.
Cletus the Slack-Jawed Yokel.
That's 50.
And Brandine is his wife.
So you're at 40 right now.
Yeah, I'm not playing around.
And if it means anything to you, Mom got 51. So if you think you can get to that number.
Nah, I'm good.
I guess I'll tap out.
Caitlin and I also quizzed her dad, Scott. Scott came up with 22 presidents to just 6 characters. Wait, am I forgetting someone?
Hey, it's official Joey C again. I love doing this video so much that I thought it would be funny to ask my parents the same questions. So I asked them to name every single president that they can think of, and then asked them to name every single Simpsons character they could think of. And I thought, boy, my parents are smart. They're 2 educated people, I think. So I asked them. This right here is all the presidents that my mom named. Wow, that's a lot of presidents. Look at that guy. I don't know who that is. And now here are all the Simpsons characters she named. Yeah. Obviously, she was more of a book learner rather than a TV watcher. Let's see if my dad would do any better. Here's all the presidents my dad could think of. Wow, what a smart old Italian man. That's pretty cool. Now, here are all the Simpsons characters that he could name. Wow. All right. Once again, a book learner rather than a TV watcher. So the moral of the story for Joey C's parents is that boomers know more presidents than Simpsons characters.
Once again, I found myself somewhat stumped. I thought for sure our parents' generation would be able to name more presidents, and by a wide gap, too. That didn't turn out to be true. Their average came in second behind the millennials, but also fell right within the average I was expecting our age group to be. I was also disappointed to see how few Simpsons characters they knew. Again, I overestimated people's awareness of the show, but I thought for sure they'd be able to name a few more characters than they did. Except for mine, of course, who, like Brian, Evan, and myself in the first round, carried the weight of the average for their entire group. Thanks to them, their group was also able to name more Simpsons characters than United States presidents, and by a wider margin than our group, 21 to 20.6. So, 2 out of 3 groups gave me the funny results I was looking for, so I can't say this video was a wash. But, unfortunately, if you combine all 3 averages, we were able to name more presidents. After quizzing 20 people, we have a total of 418 presidents to 396 Simpsons characters, which averages out to 20.8 to 19.8. So, based on this incredibly well-conducted, highly scientific experiment, on average, Americans can only name 1 more president than they can Simpsons characters. And hey, that's close enough for it to still be funny, so I'll call it a victory. There are a few other interesting data points I'd like to point out. You may assume that the people that named the most presidents also named the fewest Simpsons characters, and vice versa. However, there is no such correlation. Those who knew their presidential history were not inclined to be less aware of the Simpsons, and those who were too indulged with the Simpsons could still name quite a few presidents. I would also like to highlight my family's results. Across all 20 people quizzed, my mom, myself, my dad, and Evan ranked 1st, 4th, 5th, and 6th in Simpsons characters named. To our credit, we did name more presidents than the field by a little bit more than 3. But we also named more Simpsons characters, again by 3 times. We named 3 times as many Simpsons characters as the other 16 people. There was also something else I anticipated going into this. I had a feeling that there was going to be a handful of presidents that just about everybody would know. That would include the ones that we are all old enough to remember. Biden, Trump, Obama, and W. Bush. After that, there were a few of the iconic ones that just about everybody should know. Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, JFK, and maybe a few others. Generally, this was the case. Somehow, a few people missed on our current president. But as you can see, the iconic ones were named the most. The same goes for Simpsons characters. I expected even someone with a very minimal, tangential awareness of the show to still be able to name at least some of the main family. If you had a little bit more knowledge, maybe you knew some of the more common side characters, like Ned Flanders, Krusty the Clown, or Mr. Burns. This was also true, as Bart and Homer were named by everybody who participated. I did find it funny how some of the totals panned out. For example, the same number of people named Ronald Reagan as Ned Flanders, Thomas Jefferson as Krusty the Clown, Harry Truman as Moe Sislak, Andrew Johnson as Itchy and Scratchy, and James K. Polk as Spider-Pig. One of the things that I did notice would be somewhat unfair is there are simply so many more Simpsons characters than there are presidents. There are only 45 presidents in the U.S.'s history, compared to hundreds, if not thousands of characters on the show. So even if you did know every single president, If you're a fan of the show, there's still a chance you can name more characters. And if the results of this quiz showed me anything, there are plenty of pretty obscure, lesser-known presidents. The same goes for Simpsons characters. That gives me an idea.
I'm going to give you a name, and you have to tell me if that name is of a United States president or a character from The Simpsons.
Sounds easy enough to me.
Let's do this.
I guess the question is, how confident do you feel in your knowledge about presidents?
I don't feel confident in my knowledge about presidents or my knowledge in Simpsons characters.
I definitely don't feel confident in my knowledge about presidents, but I do feel mildly confident in my my wit about Simpsons characters.
C. Montgomery Burns. The C is short for Charles. Burns.
That really helps.
C. Montgomery Burns is a president.
A president.
C. Montgomery Burns is The Simpsons. Drederick Tatum is Drederick Tatum, former president.
I'll go president.
It's a
He is
president.
A person.
It's a president.
Drederick Tatum, not a president.
Fuck you!
Calvin Coolidge. Is Calvin Coolidge a former president or a character from The Simpsons?
I'm gonna say Simpsons. No.
Calvin Coolidge is a president.
No.
Millard Fillmore.
Millard Fremore?
That's a hard one.
I feel like you're trying to trick me.
I'm pretty sure there is a Fillmore that was the president, but I don't think his name was Millard.
I feel like that's a Simpsons character.
I'm also going to go with a character from The Simpsons.
Simpsons?
I'm going to go ahead and say The Simpsons.
It's a little silly. They don't let silly presidents in. So that Simpsons. I'm saying Simpsons.
I'm gonna say Simpson. I think there was a different Fillmore.
No, Millard Fillmore is a former United States president.
What number?
How about Joe Quimby?
President.
That sounds like a presidential name.
It does, but it's not. Kirk Van Houten.
President.
Kirk Van Houten is a Simpsons character.
Oh.
James Polk.
Okay, the reason that I think I know this is because, did you ever watch Ned's Declassified? I know in the show they go to James K. Polk Middle School. It wouldn't really make sense to name a middle school after a Simpsons character.
How about Wendell Borton?
President.
I'm going to go ahead and say president.
Wendell Borton is a Simpsons character. How about Lyle Landley?
President. That's a president.
Lyle Landley's from The Simpsons.
Get the fuck out of here.
Lionel Hutz.
Lionel Hutz. Yes, that is a president. The 17th president of the United States, in fact.
He wasn't the 17th because he wasn't a president. Gary Chalmers.
I guess I'm gonna go with my gut and say Simpsons.
That is Simpsons. God damn it. 10 for 10. I gotta have a clip in you of getting something wrong.
The country education finally come through for me.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end. It means a lot to me that you would take the time to put your eyeballs on something I made. I also want to say thank you to everybody that was a part of this video. I greatly appreciate you helping me turn these ideas into a reality. If you like what you saw, you should consider hitting the like button. Maybe even leave a comment. Hell, subscribe to me, why don't you? All my links will be in the description below. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Join my Discord server if you feel so inclined. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you'll stick around for the next one. What are you waiting for? The video's over.